Here comes a duck, top of the board, pure skill, not love. Knows every ridge, every rock, every line. While you're still loading, he's taking your spine. Map knowledge deep like an ancient scroll. Reads the terrain like it's part of his soul.
Hello, it's the Ranny Duck and welcome back for another video. And today we've got the tank review in the brand new Tier 8 Polish medium tank, the CS-53/56 Wojtek, which of course is the level 100 season pass reward tank, which you can purchase by purchasing a season pass for 2,000 gold. So what I'm going to do for you today is just quickly go over some of the statistics of the tank, and then we'll get into the gameplays where, as usual, we'll explain more about the tank as the game progresses. So what is this tank? Well, it's a Polish medium tank with a hard-hitting gun. You've got 390 alpha, so you do really slap those tanks. It feels quite nice, and I must admit, I've really actually enjoyed playing this tank. You actually have pretty decent turret armour, and you can ricochet a lot of shots when you are actually playing hold down. You do have 8 degrees of gun depression, which allows you to play those ridge lines and make use of that turret armour quite nicely. And as well as the fact, you actually have pretty good concealment. I think in my build I'm running, I've got my concealment down to 292. And you will see my build with my crew and equipment a little bit later on in this video. You've got a top speed of 50 kilometers an hour, but you've got fantastic terrain resistance, so you're actually able to get to that top speed a lot of the time, and you reach that top speed pretty quickly. So as far as the mobility is concerned, you do get around the map quite nicely indeed. Your whole armour and side armour is not very good, and the gun itself, I guess in theory it should be derpier. It's on a derpier side. In my build, I've got my accuracy down to 0.36. So it's on the derpier side, but to be honest, I haven't found it to be that case. I've actually been hitting a lot of shots, as long as you aim it in quite reliably, just in the games I've found it. You have 221 penetration on your standard AP rounds with a shell velocity of 1018. On your premium APCR rounds, you've got a penetration of 252, but you've got pretty good shell velocity of 1267. And then you've got on your HE rounds a penetration of 68 with 530 alpha. Reload in my build of 11.53, but that is because you do have that bigger alpha gun. So what I'm going to do now is, I've talked pretty much about the basics of the tanks. I want to get into the videos where you can sort of explain more as the videos progresses. We do have 3 videos for you today, a tier 8, a tier 9 and a tier 10 replay. So yeah, without further ado, let's move on to the video. Okay, so on to the first replay then on Arctic region, where we are top tier in the first replay, and there's no enemy fun police to contend with, but we do have 2 enemy light tanks. If you want to see the crew and equipment setup I'm choosing to run in the tank, you can see that at the bottom of the screen as I speak. But initially in Arctic region, we're going to try and spot the cross and see if we can get any assistance damage or pick up any damage of our own on the tank's crossing. So hopefully we can play this ridge. Like I say, we do have 8 degrees of gun depression. We can make the ridge lines work for us. And we do have good turret armour as well. And you can see we're not actually getting spotted there because we do have that good concealment. So we opt to put a shot there into the enemy TD, which was over poking the hill. Unfortunately, I do not penetrate, but I do pick up about 700 track assistance. So it wasn't too bad in the end. So we do finally get spotted by that enemy light tank, I suggest, who's playing pretty closely. And this game is going to turn into one where I do have to be a little bit patient, because I kind of need to wait for my team to progress down there. I guess you could call it a heavier side in sort of the D1 area, and light some tanks up for me to shoot, because I can't push across there. If I push across out this position from where I am, then I'm going to get a lot of punishment coming into me, and it's far too early on the game to be making those decisions at the moment. You can see I am getting targeted. I'm just trying to keep extending my view range and poking, see if an enemy tank shoots me. Obviously when they shoot, they're going to lose concealment value, so if I can bait a shot, it's going to give me a better chance of actually detecting some of these targets. I know there is some targets on this hill. Enemy Barras does get detected, and we get off to a great start of the game with our first pen setting the Barras on fire, putting us onto 500 damage, but he was actually running there a fire extinguisher, which is quite rare these days, so he does, I could have got a lot more damage had he not been. But our team is actually losing at the moment, but the hit points are still relatively close, so there's no need to panic. An enemy tank destroyer gets spotted, and we're able to put another connecting shot in there, and you can see these just, that 390 alpha just feels nice. It doesn't take you long actually to pick up the damage, although you have a relatively long reload. Just that 390 alpha just feels nice to me at tier 8 when you're running a medium, especially a medium like this, which actually can bounce shots when it's hull down. Of course, when you're fighting against the higher tier 10 tanks, with the high heat rounds, etc., you are going to be able to pen your turret, but for the most part, for a medium tank, you certainly can bounce quite a lot of shots while hull down. Obviously, just don't rely on your hull armour, because you won't bounce too many shots in that situation. So again, you see, it is quite a slow game at the moment, but I can't really see the sense of moving. I am consciously aware of the fact that we have enemy tanks pushing down the opposite side in a sort of K7 area. Need to be a little bit aware of that, I should say, because if we lose it, the enemy team could potentially put shots into the rear of my tank, so it's something I've got to bear in mind. But as you can see, our heavy tank here at the B3 position is actually starting to push up. If he gets underneath their ridge at B5, he's going to spot a lot of targets, it's going to apply more pressure, and it's going to allow us to get some more shots in. But with these enemy medium tanks playing the centre ridge in front of me when they keep poking, I can't really push across because there's two of them in that area. They're both pretty much full health, and it's just not going to be great for me. But an enemy Tiger 1, he's come round, and to be honest, he's going to make a mistake here. He's pushing into 3 tanks, but I'm grateful for that damage available to me. So we put 1 shot in. Hopefully we can get another shot in here. We might even be able to pick up the kill shot if we're lucky. We do get the kill shot, but not a lot of damage because he just eats 1 before we get that shot in. But more importantly, the Tiger's taken out, and we've still got all of our hit points at this stage. We're now on to 1,500 assistance, a combination of track assistance from the start and spotting assistance, and we've got about 1,500 damage of our own. Conscious of the fact that TD is still in the sniper's nest, so if I overextend, he could potentially put a shot into me. And you can see there is quite a few tanks on the B6 area. If those tanks in the B6 area get pushed by our heavies, then that's going to be my time to get the punishing shots in, because they're going to get pushed back and it may allow me to get some shots in. Consciously aware of the fact that tanks are pushing down our base, but we have quite a few tanks in our base location at the moment to be able to get those shots in. So not overly concerned, I'm just trying to blind fire where some tanks were shooting from. Sometimes you might be able to hit those shots, you can't hit what you don't fire at, and pick up some extra cheeky bits of damage. So we do pick up a little bit more assistance, putting us into 1,700 assistance here. You can see pretty much for most of this game we have been in this location, but we've also been getting damage and we've been getting assistance. So it's been okay for us, and there's still 41% of hit points remaining. I am getting a little bit itchy feet though. I want something to happen now. I'm getting a bit bored of just sitting in this location, if I'm honest, and I'm getting tempted, I'm not going to lie, to push across into this riverbed in the middle, if you like, and try and take out those medium tanks. But I don't want to get across there. I don't want to take punish getting across, because I'm going to need all my hit points here. And it is going to get a little bit risky if I do this, because you see there is tanks shooting. That enemy object 416 puts a shot, unfortunately taking out our friendly medium tank behind us there. Really want our heavies to start pushing across, and then we'll be able to react when that happens. Pick up a little bit more assistance, putting us closer to the 2,000 assistance now. And I am getting itchy feet, and I'm thinking, you know what, I might go in a minute because I want something to happen here. You can see I know there's a general there. If I can kind of time it when the general's on reload, maybe I'm going to go across, and I want to try and kill the lower health tank first, and then we can focus on the general. So like I say, this is risky. I put a shot into this enemy 416, but we go for the ram and we ram him and we take him out, picking up our second kill. But I need to get out of fire because there's an enemy autoloader trying to shoot us, but we get shut down by our friendly team. I now need to pull safe from the tanks which can shoot me behind me. There's an enemy brass here. If he pens both shots into me, then I'm going to die. But I can't push him because I'm going to get shot from the tanks behind me. I need my heavy tanks to move up. I'm relying on my team now. Brass comes found. I think it's all over, but he bounces that shot. Now I want to push him because he's on reload, right? But because our heavies haven't pushed the tanks at B7, I'm thinking I'm just going to get shot and and die. But also I can't wait for the brass to come off reload, so I wait till I lose my spot. Now I come in. I put him into a one shot. Hopefully I can try and get the kill, but it's going to be tight to see whether he actually comes off of reloading time. I'm thinking I've got the kill, I've got 1 second left, and unfortunately I get shot by, I think it must have been, I don't know if that brass came off reload or I got shot by a different brass, I'm not too sure. I get taken out, but it kind of works out okay because I still get 5,000 assistance for making that play, 3,000 damage, so it wasn't the worst result in the end. We did pick up a lot of assistance for making that push. Now I'm going to skip ahead to the end of the video because we do get on the win. It's 8 versus 2. So then we can move on to the scoreboard and then move on to the next replay. Okay, there you go. We do get the win. We managed to pick up, I think, 2 kills, 3,000 damage, 5,000 assistance damage, and we do confirm that ace tanker. So the next replay we've got for you is tier 9, and I'll see you over there in a little bit. Okay, so we are on replay number 2 on Ellenberg. This time it is tier 9 matchmaking. There isn't actually any enemy light tanks, but there is one enemy artillery we have to contend with. So pretty standard on Ellenberg. I'm going to try and push at the start to D78, see if there's any tanks there we can shoot and get into a little bit of a fight. It can quite often lead to, I guess, a campy fest game just by this map in general leads that way a lot of the time, but I'm going to push over there initially and hopefully we can try and get some early damage, maybe spot, considering there's no light tanks, and get some assistance. So I'll just see if I can get a cheeky shot here on any tanks which has moved across. I actually get a cheeky, really filthy shot there into that enemy heavy tank, and we actually high roll for 417, so very decent start to the game. These enemy tanks are pushing across and I want to get the punish into them, so I can play hold down here. Charioteer wasn't even fully aimed and we get another shot in, so it's gone off to a flying start so far. And I was thinking it's always nice when you get those early damage into a game. Makes your life a lot easier later on. So there is tanks I can fire at here. Obviously I am starting to get concerned that enemy artillery might start to focus us here, but really there's not a great deal I can do about that situation anyway. Try and get a shot into the charioteer as he pokes up, and like I say, with those 2 tanks in that location, makes our life a little bit difficult. We can't really progress until we've killed them. Hopefully maybe our enemy artillery will get some shots into them. But then it looks like the charioteer was actually leaving there and starting to run. Enemy artillery is starting to look at us. And I'm looking at the mini-map. Some of our tanks have played very aggressively on the other side and spotted quite a few of their targets. I'm hoping to try and move across now and take this into my own hands to see if I can kill that charioteer as he was leaving, because it kind of looked like it to me that he was running. So I'm hoping that maybe we can try and take him out. Once he's destroyed, we can then take out the enemy heavy tank in this location. So I do get spotted naturally. I put a shot into the enemy heavy tank. We set him on fire again, but he has a fire kit there. And we actually get shot, but it's someone shooting HE at us, and yeah, really don't do a lot of the damage. I was thinking, was that the charioteer shooting Hesh? But realistically, he probably would have, if he didn't pen, do more damage to us. And then I'm thinking maybe it was his CDC black. We put a beautiful shot into this CDC, trying to farm him unspotted. If I get too close to that heavy tank, he's going to proxy me. But now that CDC is pushed back, I don't really have the shots into him. I'm concerned about pushing the heavy tank on my right, because I'll get farmed not only by the CDC, but there was a charioteer there at one point who would potentially have shots into me. We do put the CDC though, at least onto a 2-shot, putting us onto about 2,000 damage. So we're onto a very decent start of the game, but we're 4 tanks down and we are losing this game at the moment. Now we're actually gone down to 5 tanks down because our tanks have got destroyed on the other side. So I need to try and push the pace. But with our heavy tank pushing across, I thought, right, I'm not going to leave him to do this by himself. Put a shot in. I kind of need him to push across because we're going to get farmed here. We don't get into the low ground. We don't really want to stay in front of him. So I'm going to have to just move round. I should be able to get the finish if our heavy tank doesn't manage to do it. I do get the kill in because I beat its reload, and I want to get into this dip so I can get safe from the enemy gunfire. And we spot the enemy piggy there, so we might get some assistance. I'm actually focusing out the CDC because the CDC is a tank which is shooting at our team, and as much as I want to shoot the piggy, I'm going to try and finish him off if I can. Enemy charioteer though gets detected. We opt to finish off the one shot first. It was the CDC firing HE at us, and we pick up our second kill of the game, bring us to 3,500 damage with a lot of damage potential left in this game. Now, the problem is that charioteer is still there. If he puts one shot into us, we'll be on a one shot to him. We can only afford to eat one. So I can't really push him because in theory he's going to outspot me, and is likely to be tanked at the sort of B3 area covering him, which will leave me in a very awkward situation. But I'm looking at the mini-map and I'm kind of thinking it looks, or at least it appears, that our heavy tank is going to push across. And I'm thinking that would be great for me because if our heavy tank pushes across, he will then light the charioteer and I'll be able to farm the free kill there and cover our friendly heavy tank. So that's why I'm kind of waiting here at the moment for that reason, because if we kill the charioteer, it kind of frees up a potential ability to push across if we wanted to. At the moment I need to wait for that to happen, but then I was thinking, right, okay, it turns out the heavy tank's not pushing across there, or not quick enough for my liking. I don't want to waste time because we potentially could be starting to lose on the other side, and it looked like it wasn't going to do it. But then I saw a medium tank come and I think, right, I've got a feeling the medium tank's going to full send, because he is actually full health and I just don't have the hit points to really do it, and he is a top tier medium. So I think, right, if he goes across, I know the charioteer's there, like I literally know he's there, so if that medium tank spots him, I will shoot him and we'll be able to kill him together. But then I'm thinking, right, okay, is he actually going to do it? But no, he does spot it. There you go, the charioteer was there and we put a shot into him. We put him now onto a one shot. I just need him to go and light him again. If they do, I will cover him. I will kill this charioteer if they spots them. I could push across, but I think there's going to be tanks covering. That's what's hesitating me at the moment. Very close game. I'm on just shy of 4,000 damage. So, there's still a lot of damage available to us. I decided, you know what, they're not pushing it, so I'm just going to go back then and cover our team on the other side, because there is tanks, as you can see, spotted coming towards our base here, and I don't want to run the risk of getting capped out. But it's kind of like us stuck in a situation. Do I go with them? Do I not go with them? But I thought, right, I'm just going to go back because I don't know if our friendly team are going to, get capped out. I don't want that to happen. I want to also try and put a side shot angle in. If these tanks cross towards our base, we can get some shots in. Unfortunately, our medium tank has come in and I'm not there to try and get the shots in, but I should hopefully be able to get the punish on these tanks. And here's where it finally lets me down the gun and misses the enemy Panther crossing. Like I say, a lot of the time this gun really actually behaves for me, when in theory it should be a little bit derpier, but you do get those shots where it does derp. But for the most part, I haven't found that actually to be a huge problem. Unfortunately, enemy Mantis wasn't able to finish him off. It was a one shot, and enemy tank now has got in the cap circle. Potentially could be the Mantis who was a one shot. Obviously Mantis does have some pretty decent concealment. I'm moving over to help my team. Kind of feels like our heavy tank's unfortunately going to die on the other side now, probably that enemy medium tank. At this point I'm not sure what that medium tank and what hit points it has, but I need to try and help my team out here. It wasn't the Mantis in the cap. I managed to shut down the Mantis though, picking up our third kill of the game, again bringing us close to that 5,000 damage mark. Enemy Panther is getting shot by our TDs. He's pushed very aggressively. Maybe I can come and help him out here. Get a filthy shot into the side of his turret there, putting the Panther onto a one shot to us, and I'm looking to see if I can find a way to get the kill. We've got a minute left on the cap. I'm not overly concerned. I should be able to light this tank. So I do have some good concealment values. I'm going to try and sign that we can spot him. We do spot him. He's leaving. Hopefully we can put a juicy shot into him there. We do. We put him onto a one. and we're now in a 5 versus 6. I'm on about, what, 4,700 odd damage. And frustratingly for me, the tank behind me is a Centurion, which I'd like to go and push and kill. The problem I've got is he is full health and he's a tier 9 heavy tank, so medium tank. So I'm going to need some assistance. But my friendly TDs have kind of just left us, and they're continuing to push down the K line, which is a mistake. They need to come back and help me kill with this Centurion. If we can kill this Centurion together, then we can go and deal with the rest of the team. But this Centurion is going to cause us a real problem. I wanted to try and get some shots in. I struggled with the gun depression. I just didn't want to push him, but I also can't stay here. I see I'm getting targeted. There could be TDs which are pushed into the middle, which could have shots into me. I do have support from the artillery. I kind of just need to push this Centurion. We needed to push him right quickly the second we had the opportunity to. He's now killed our friendly heavy tank that's been taken out, and we're suddenly in a very awkward situation, right? Because we are pincered in one corner. We're going to have the Centurion below, which is full health. We're getting pushed by the TDs on the left, and I'm suddenly thinking, are we going to win this? But our friendly heavy tank does shut down the enemy charioteer on the other side, which is very helpful. There's an enemy medium tank there as well. He is a one shot, and he takes out him as well. So he does do a good job there, bringing it back to a 4 versus 4. I just need help killing this Centurion. Maybe I should have just pushed this Centurion anyway. It's just the fact that I was a 2-shot to him. I just didn't think was a smart idea at the time, doing it without support. But maybe I should have, because I did have the artillery which could cover me. Unfortunately, as you can see, we're now down to me and our friendly artillery, and I'm stuck in a rock and a hard place. We're getting pushed from multiple angles, and this is where the game unfortunately falls apart for me. We do shoot the entry Centurion, we bounce. He actually shoots HE at us, or Hesh, doesn't pen, and yeah, this game is all over. I'm getting shot by a stealthy TD I can't spot. Yeah, and I think I regret my decision not pushing that Centurion fast, because we do get the loss. We do have a good game still. We get 5,000 damage, but at one point there was a lot of damage left available for that game. I think if I could have killed the Centurion quicker, I then would have had a chance. Maybe I should have gone and covered my heavy tank quicker, but you know, they're the mistakes. Easy in hindsight, isn't it? So yeah, let's move on then to the second replay of the video. Sorry, the final replay of the video, which is the tier 10 matchmaking. Okay, so here we are for the final replay then on Hidden Village, and as you can see, this is tier 10 matchmaking. There is one enemy artillery in the game, and there's one enemy light tank. So not a great map for us, to be fair, Hidden Village. I mean, to be honest, I don't really like this map too much anyway. Not when there's artillery involved. It makes our life a lot, difficult. I guess I probably would prefer this spawn though, because it's easier to get to the ridge. And I am hoping that my tanks actually come with me to this ridge line. We're going to try and get into the middle ridge here on the left and try and spot the targets coming out of their base down the E2 area, and see if we can get any assistance of our artillery. The biggest threat to us, of course, is the enemy artillery going to shoot us from that location. And I guess what could go wrong the most is if my team don't push up with me. Quite often they just stay quite passive and don't take the map control. You want to be taking this ridge if you can, and because it makes your life so much easier if you actually get presence in this, because you force the enemy team back. And generally you normally get wins if you do that, but obviously you can't control what your team are going to do. You can see we do put a shot into enemy T30. Unfortunately for us, the T30 is platooned with the enemy artillery, I believe, and the enemy artillery is going to start to look my way, which I guess makes sense. It's just going to make our life difficult. Some of our tanks have pushed up with us, which is good, so I have a bit of presence with us to try and fight these tanks. I'm trying to just keep them spotted for as long as possible, because that's giving our friendly artillery every opportunity to put shots into them, weaken them up, and also give me assistance damage. So I want to try and keep them spotted for as long as I can. Enemy artillery was looking at us though, so I'm just conscious of that. Don't want to eat a big one from the enemy artillery, but also, I've got to still keep trying to spot them. I'm not really over poking to try and get the shot of damage in, because I don't want to overextend myself when there's so many tanks there who can shoot me, because I could easily lose all of my hit points that way. So I'm just trying to be, as sneaky as I can, just to, wait for some tanks to fire, and then just only expose, as little as my turret armor as I can. Because although I have a good turret armor, I'm still fighting tanks like the T-30s and Tier 10 tanks there, and they probably would be able to pen it. So I need to try and just only expose as, little as I possibly can. We do put a shot into the T-30 again. Enemy artillery finally lands a splash damage into us, taking away sort of 200 of our hit points and a crew member. But all in all, it could have been worse. Still a very, very close game at the moment. Only landed 2 pens. Have picked up about 1,000 assistance, so not too bad. We're swapping to this ridge here because it wasn't really working for me. We opt to put a shot into the enemy heavy tank. Unfortunately, our friendly tank eats the shot for him there, and then the artillery is now looking to shoot me yet again. So just trying to move around, taking this as patient as I can. As you can see, our friendly team are starting to push forward, and that's going to allow us to try and pressure these tanks. I'm thinking about moving into the ridge in front, but I don't want to do it too soon. I want to wait until I have as much support as I possibly can before I do so. But that is how we're going to progress this game once our team push up together. And they've started to do that. As you can see, our TDs are starting to push around the right-hand side. I was just seeing if we can get another shot into that T-30, but I am running the risk here. Every time I go to this location, artillery is shooting at me. Just thankfully for me, he's missed most of his shots so far. So now our team are with me. I'm pushing up, and we're going to try and make this work to kill these tanks here. Try and focus out the enemy heavy tank on the right because it's got fantastic DPM. We put a shot through his drive wheel, and as always, that is a walk-in fire pot, that 215B, and we do set him on fire. He gets finished off by our friendly T-30, and now with the help of our team, we're going to focus out this E-100 because he's in a lot of problems now. We've got behind him. Every opportunity I get, I'm going to put a shot through his drive wheel just to try and keep him tracked in place and maybe pick up some track assistance. So he is, there's really no escape for this E-100, unfortunately for him, but we managed to pick up 2,000 damage, 1,000 odd assistance damage now, and we've turned the tide this battle. It's now 13 versus 9. Got to poke this corner very slowly in case there's any tanks hiding in the distance which can get some shots into us. Doesn't really appear like there is. This wreck is, and my driving is causing a bit of a problem. Kind of crashing into this. Looking to try and get a shot on the reach here, trying to not eat the derp. Go to shoot the tumor, and actually I bounced. I think I could have aimed that better, to be fair. And now an enemy mouse is pulling back in front of us. I want to try and get back behind this ridge or behind this cover, but the wreck in front of me is preventing me from doing so. And unfortunately, our friendly heavy tank is kind of just trapped me here. He keeps reversing backwards rather than just drive forward so I can help him shoot the mouse. I literally can't help him at the moment. So the only way I can come out is actually come out side on, which basically means I eat a shot, but I couldn't do anything in that situation. I was getting pushed against that wreck, which wasn't helpful because I had to eat an unnecessary shot of damage. But I'm going to ignore that tank to try and deal with the enemy tanks and maybe pick up some assistance to spot on some of these Waffle 100s. We do spot a Waffle 100, put a big juicy round in. Could have penned in with a HE potentially, but I didn't know that tank was going to get spotted. Enemy convoy actually kills himself somehow, and we're starting to farm these medium tanks which are crossing. On about 3,000 damage now with 1,300 assistance. Hopefully can land another shot into this enemy medium tank as he crosses here. We do. He actually gets taken out blind as well. Putting us on to 3,400 damage, 1,300 assistance. And this game is pretty much coming to an end. Seems unlikely that we're going to lose at this point. 12 versus 5, we should get the win. But we've got to be careful because stranger things have happened. But we're just moving in. I'm ignoring where the artillery is just because I'm not going to get there in time. Our friendly team are going to take him out. There's a classic example of my superior driving there. Driving straight into a rock. Excellent. Which has slowed me down slightly. Artillery does get spotted, is going to get taken out by our friendly team, and pretty much all the hit points are left in this Waffle E100 now. Pushing into our Waffle E100 by myself Not smart unless I know he's on reload, because he's just going to be able to kill me. So I can't push in, really. I need to help on my team unless I want to die, but I am going to wait for him to come a little bit closer towards me before I push round onto this waffle. Ultimately, I'm just looking for one more shot of damage this game to put me closer to the 4,000 mark, because this game, yeah, is pretty much over. So I'm waiting for my team to get that a little bit closer, because otherwise the waffle is just going to clip me. But I am going to try and poke and put a shot in. We poke, we eat one, but we'll thankfully just get round the corner before he's going to kill us. But because I waited for my team, I now have to support my team. He pushes around the corner. He's walking straight into my tank. So hopefully one of these tanks will eat a shot. But ultimately this tank game's over. So I'm going to poke for the shot anyway, because I won't get another chance. It's going to get taken out. We land it, thankfully, and that puts us to 4,000 damage, 1,300 assistance in the tier 10 matchmaking. We do actually go on to get the ace tanker, despite actually not getting any kills. But I think obviously because it's a tier 10 matchmaking, yeah, we do get the ace tanker there. And that's the end of the video. So yeah, as I say, this is a tank I've enjoyed playing it for my limited games I've played. I do actually feel like I am going to get, I am going to play this tank more. I do generally really enjoy the play style. I like the fact that it gets to the top mobility quite well. I like the fact that it's got that 390 alpha gun, combined with the good turret armour, means you can play these ridgeline spots, hold down. And all in all, it's a very solid medium tank, and it's definitely worth picking up for 2,000 gold. So thanks so much for your support. As always, happy tanking.
Enemies panic when they hear that quack. Random's here, there's no turning back. Legend is steel, one man crew. World of tanks.